Hallo, herzlich willkommen zur Essential Holy Night 2. We are in English. My name is Aditya Novotny, and this is the special live stream for Essential Holy Night number 2 for December 26th. And the meaning of this second Holy Night is the connection to our higher self, our higher roots, as well as the connection to our inner guidance, our inner roots. Welcome, everybody. And let's start right in. Higher self and inner guidance, the meaning of this particular Holy Night number 2. How are you doing? How were your rituals on Holy Night number 1? Did you get started with the Holy Night journal? Or are you still trying to figure out how to structure your Holy Night journal? As you know, it is essential for the success of the Holy Nights to write and write and write. So I give you today, first of all, a recommendation how you can structure your Essential Holy Night journal. And yes, Catherine, hello. I recorded again the whole day too, because we had some inexplicable sound problems. My excuses again to those who were there live. You had to bear terrible sounds I was hearing afterwards in the recording. So I just had to record the whole thing one more time. So how do you structure your Holy Night journal? I recommend you do like tabs. You make a structure like in a spreadsheet, and I wonder if you see it in the correct way, like from left to right, because I see myself mirrored in the screen. If you can just tell me, is this in the right direction that I'm showing you the tabs, or is this just the wrong way around? This should be from left to right. But I don't know how you see that on your screen. Please give a short comment if I'm indicating the direction correctly. Once again, is this from left to right? Yes or no? And my recommendation is you have 5 columns, you have 5 tabs. In the first tab, you write down the ideas that you get on the particular day, the dreams that you dream on that day or in that night. So let us include this, the dreams, the ideas that you get, and the impressions, the things that happen during that particular Holy Night. This is to be written in column number 1, because it gives you really an indication. Oh, good, Catherine, we see you indicating from left to right, and that's fantastic. So in the first tab, in the first column, on the left side, please write down all the dreams that you remember from this Holy Night, the ideas you got during that day, and really write it down fast because ideas disappear so quickly. And also the impressions you got. How was the general feeling? How was the energy? How was your health? How were your interactions with other people? This you write down, please, in the first column. In the second column, you're writing down your projects. You remember we are always looking for each Holy Night into these 7 key areas of your life. And we're determining which project for the physical, which project for the emotional, which project for the mental, and so on. So that would be the next thing, that you have the second column, your projects or your creations that you decide to do. Third, a column for implementation. This is then for the more detailed scripts for your stage directions to yourself. And this third column really can be filled in detail in the month itself. So if you're participating in the Essential Holy Nights year, then this third column will be filled specifically at the beginning of each month. However, even now, while we are in the holy nights themselves, you should write already some cues, you should write already some scripts, some ideas how you're going to achieve those projects, those new creations in your life. Then I recommend you have a fourth column, and that column is results. And results means you're really checking what has happened to those projects. Did they come true? How did they manifest? Or were the results rather meager? Were the results not satisfying? So this is important. With column 4, you are basically checking back column 2, what has happened, what was the outcome. Let's write in here outcome. So it is rather methodical, and it has a great effect if you do it in that way. Next, the 5th column, very important, gratitude. So be grateful for whatever you experience on that day, on that holy night, whatever comes to mind and comes to heart specifically that you are grateful for, please write it down. This part of your holy night journal is like a gratitude journal, and gratitude journal is enormously important. Now, you can either have like a big journal, or you have to have a tiny handwriting to do that, and then you take basically the broad side, not the regular side, but you basically twist the journal to the side, so you have the horizontal view. Another way is really to make A3 formatted sheets. So these are rather big. These are 11.69 inches by 16.54 inches. Basically like little posters that you can post on the wall. And actually use 12 large A3 sheets, why 12 for each holy night, 1. Then you can really also put up that sheet of the month or that sheet of the holy night on the wall throughout the whole month. So use 12 large A3 sheets for each month, 1 for each month, to have all 5 columns on one sheet. Column 3, implementation. Your stage directions to yourself, your scripts that you write down already now. As I said, the detailed scripts will follow once we are in that month. But that column really takes a lot of space. You wish to be really detailed there because after all, you're manifesting your year. So my recommendation, make column 3 times as wide as the other columns, because it contains not only the implementation scripts for each holy night that come to mind and to heart now, but also then for each respective month once the month starts. So this is to be added in column 3. This is not the final product, but column 3, part of it you write now in the holy night, and part of it will be added at the beginning of each month during the essential holy nights year. Do you have any questions concerning this structuring? Do you have any experiences in using a holy night journal? How do you use your holy night journal? What has proven successful for you? Please share in the chat. Is it that format that I just outlined? Did you try maybe the poster size papers, 1 for each month? Or do you write it really in a journal, like in a college block? What has proven successful for you? Please be kind enough to share. Now, let's go into the theme of Holy Night 2. December 26th is, as you know, connected with the month of February. And February, we are going now into Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. So we come from Capricorn in January, and that's the earth. That's the most condensed form of creation. And we are going into the air sign. Air sign like Aquarius has to do with your thoughts, but also has to do with spirituality, with reaching out into the spirit. So the big question you ask yourself now is, what is my vision? In Holy Night number 1, the big question was, what are my roots? Here, what is my vision? Could be the guiding question that you ask yourself for that Holy Night too. What is my vision? So indeed, what is your vision in these 7 areas? We are going to look into that. This Holy Night and the connected months of February has the meaning that you get more in contact with your higher self, your divine guidance, and that you also get more in contact with your inner self, your inner guidance. In this second Holy Night, you are spiritually creating your months of February. While we grounded ourselves in the months of January and the first Holy Night and strengthened our foundation yesterday and in the months of January and have let our roots grow deeper, the months of February is about more spiritual and more spirit and also thought. That means mental things. This is why it's important that you have a look. What are you thinking, especially on that day? Everything you think, you feel, you say, you do on December 26th, which people you come in contact with, which energy is there, which mood you have, which dreams and ideas and intentions there are, will have an effect in the corresponding month of February. Again, it's mostly about thoughts and about spirit this month, number 2. So observe consciously and choose mindfully what you think on that day, what you direct your spirit to on this day, December 26th, and also what you do not think, what you do not put your attention, your spirit attention to. So what do you think on this day and what do you not think on this day? This is because this day has a directional effect on the whole month of February. And with February, you're continuing setting the sails. You are continuing setting the sails for the year. This is now just month 2 of 12 months. And these first months are quite formative, are quite important in their effect. Because this day has a directional effect on the whole month of February, take yourself now some time and ask yourself, what is my vision? What is guidance? What is inner guidance? What is higher guidance? Is there even a difference between the two? Is there something like a higher guidance? Is there something like an inner guidance? How do you feel that, if it exists? Write down how you are experiencing this directedness or this guidance, higher guidance, inner guidance. Where do you feel it? How does it manifest? How does it show? When did you experience it before in your life? That higher guidance or inner guidance? When did you miss a guidance, a higher guidance and inner guidance? Were there moments in your life when you wished you would have some guidance or you would have a clear vision of what to do, but it simply wasn't there? There was no guidance, there was no vision, it was all chaos. What were the circumstances when you didn't have the vision, when you didn't have the guidance? Or in other words, what were the circumstances when you had a clear vision, when you had strong guidance? So in other words, how can you recognize guidance? Because it's maybe always there. We just don't pay attention to it all the time. We are maybe not seeing the signs that are given to us. So what are those signs on your path which you sometimes see and sometimes you overlook? Does the world speak to you? Does the world speak to you through coincidences, through situations, through words that other people say to you? Has it happened to you maybe that people were saying something, but you said, wow, what are you saying? And basically you heard a message in what the other person was saying. So does the universe speak to you in coincidences, in situations, in what people are saying to you? Maybe even in nature, the wind, the sun, the stars, the trees, the waters, or even the earth. Do they speak to you? We spoke about groundedness already on Holy Night 1, our connection to Mother Earth. So what do your roots tell you? What does your foundation tell you? And then inner guidance, connecting to all those around you. It seems like outer guidance, but if you ask that person, what did you just say? The person said, oh, I just said blah, blah, blah. And they didn't even notice they were saying something special that had a special meaning for you. What has occurred? Actually, it was your inner guidance making you hear something special that someone outside of you said. You heard a special meaning within the words that person uttered. So ask yourself, when are you connected to the higher guidance? And how does that feel? And when are you connected to the inner guidance? And how does that feel? And yes, there's a difference between the two. Higher guidance comes directly from the divine source, or at least from your higher self above the crown. Inner guidance comes from the soul deep inside your heart. Inner guidance comes from the spark within you. It is true what Catherine Leung says, inner guidance can be a response to higher guidance. That means you get higher guidance, but this higher guidance also communicates to your soul, to your inner spark, to your inner pilot. Because chances that you get this guidance are sometimes higher when it comes from your own inner pilot. That is to say, from your heart, from your inner voice than from up on high. For most people, it's easier to hear their inner voice or their conscience or get a certain feeling or intuition. And usually they cannot differentiate what is it exactly. It's just a feeling. It's just a knowing from the inside, when really it is a form of inner guidance. And that is often effectuated originally by the higher guidance. So yes, Catherine, the inner guidance can be a function of the higher guidance, but higher guidance can also work directly. Marissa says, there is so much trust needed to trust in the insight and in the guidance. This is awesome. This is awesome. And every time you follow the guidance, it is strengthened. Yes, this is the requirement. And this is what we are doing now on Holy Night number 2 on 26th of December. We are really looking to strengthen connection to our higher self or even the divine source. And we are looking to strengthen our inner guidance, our connection to our inner self. So trust is needed. Trust into this insight or trust into these inner feelings, inner promptings. And then when we follow those guidances, when we follow those feelings, to us they appear like feelings, but really in some cases it's not just feelings, it's a guidance that comes through your heart. It's like an inner pilot that gives you impulses. And when you follow them, each time you follow them, they become clearer and clearer. It's like a communication channel. It becomes better and better the more often you use it. Very good. Thank you for your contribution. Marissa, thank you for your contribution. Catherine. Subconsciously, every human being is looking for a higher guidance and an inner guidance. We have a need for it. Like when we were children, our parents told us what to do. Now we are grown-ups, and you say, well, why should I not just determine everything by myself? Because in reality, we are still children compared to the Creator, compared to the universe. We are tiny beings. We are like children. And if you can follow the guidance from your Heavenly Father or from your universal mother, God the Father, God the Mother, then you can just trust. Be like a child following the advices that your mother and your father give you. So this inner guidance reconnects us to our inner sources. We have the higher principle, that's the Param Atman, the higher self. Also the Holy Spirit, the flame of the Holy Spirit dancing above the head. Or in Buddhism, the Buddha above the head. Or in Hinduism, Shiva principle. And that is like an antenna, you could say, that connects you to the divine source. That's Param Atman, the higher self above the head. And then we have Jivatman. Jivatman, Atma means the soul, and Jiva means the life, so the soul in life. The soul that has taken incarnation in the flesh, and this is where we usually pointing when we speak about ourselves. Intuitively, people point here and say I, because they feel this is where their I amness is. This is where their Jiva, their Jivatman is, their self in life. And this also has been symbolized as the heart of Jesus, which makes you a son of God or a daughter of God if you experience this mystical heart. And this is the Krishna principle in Hinduism, and this is the Buddha in the heart in Buddhism. Both kinds of guidance depend on your inner openness, your inner awareness, and your trust. In order to be guided, you need openness, awareness, and trust. if you can live in the sure knowing that you are connected, that you are taken care of, that things are for your best and for everyone's best, you're living in a totally different world than if you think you are cut off from everyone, you are isolated, you're fighting for survival, and everything that happens is for your worst. And you notice what it is? It's just two different forms of mindset. You have a mindset of trust, a mindset that is open and looks for clues, looks for guidance, or do you have a mindset that is pretty negative, that is skeptical, that is doubtful, and that makes you feel like, oh, I have to fight for everything? Yes, you recognized it, especially if you have been in the 30-day abundance challenge. The one mindset, the one that is open to guidance, is an abundance mindset. And the other mindset, the one that doubts and that is afraid and has to fight, that's a mindset of lack. Absolutely. So let's look into how we can get in touch. Before we look, and if you hear this overview still one more time, what are the goals of the 12 Holy Nights? First, we are transitioning. Now we are already on the Holy Night 2. That means your old year is now really past. There's anything still to leave behind. And actually, I will come with that till April, because April is like a final closing and throwing out old energies. This is what the storms of April stand for. But basically, you have already transitioned, you are already in the new, and it's just leaving behind some things that you still have forgotten. You're observing the signs and portents and your connection with your ancestors, the gods and goddesses. These are the universal energies, and the divine. You're goal setting and scripting for the coming year. You're doing oil rituals, which open you and connect you on the subconscious, on the conscious, and on the superconscious level. And this enhances greatly your look at the 7 key areas of your life. You do the ritual of the 13 wishes. 13 wishes. If you have made these 13 little papers like sticky notes, wrap them up, put them in a bowl or in a container. Yesterday, you have taken out one of those wishes on Holy Night 1, and you have put it into the fire or burned it in a candle flame. And you know these wishes are being taken care of by the universe for you. It's an interaction between your subconsciousness and the universal consciousness. Your mind doesn't even know which wish it is that you have picked out on that particular day. And now we are on Holy Night 2, December 26th. If you have done these 13 wishes, now is the time to pick out the second little sheet of paper that you have wrapped up so you can't see it, and that you give into the flame, that you give into the fire to burn and to hand over in trust to the universe to be taken care of. And these 13 wishes, as you know, they are finished on January 6th, the night of the 3 Magi, the night of the 3 Kings or 3 Wise Men, or Epiphany as it is also called. And that last one, the 13th one, so you do the 12th until January 5th, but the 13th one, you don't put in the fire. The 13th little paper is for you to own. It's for you to work at. You open that 13th paper that remains. You will be curious which one is it, because it's really interesting. You had the statistical chance to pick any, but why does one particular remain to the end, and which one is it? And that which remains, the 13th one, is quite an interesting one. Usually tells you a lot about yourself and the year ahead of you. So please don't open up these papers before it's time, 1 paper per day. put into the flames. And the final paper, you open it only on January 6th. In this whole time, you can do chanting, singing, invoking, and you can do meditations and prayers. And I recommend you to really do nature, walks in nature, nature experiences, because the doors to the inner world are wide open in this time of the Holy Nights. So now, before we go into the 7 areas, let us have a look at the oils we are working with today. For the higher guidance, these oils are sacred sandalwood and sacred frankincense. Once again, sacred sandalwood and sacred frankincense for the higher guidance. For the inner guidance, I'm again taking from this oil set, oils of ancient scripture, the oils onycha and cistus. Cistus has another name, it's called Rose of Sharon. So you're picking out, if you have the Bible oil set, you're picking out onycha for inner guidance, and you are picking out Rose of Sharon or cistus for inner guidance. These are the 4 oils we are working with, and let us start with sacred frankincense. It is steam distilled from the wood of Santalum album, which is the original Indian sandalwood. But this particular one has been cultivated in northwest of Australia. Gary Young was very happy when he found this farm of sacred sandalwood. He said the quality is even better than the one that you can get from India. And it is really connecting you. Remember, Shiva principle above the head. Sandalwood is the quintessential Shiva incense and Shiva oil. So what you do, you start inhaling sacred sandalwood from the bottle. And you immediately notice what a special aroma, woodsy aroma, fascinating aroma it has. This aroma enhances prayer, meditation, yoga. And in terms of connecting to the higher self, the higher guidance, the points where you apply to are the crown and the forehead. Again, if you live in a colder country, and the oil, which has a high viscosity, takes a while to come out of the bottle. Stay patient, stay grateful, and have a good wish while the drop pours out or drips out of the bottle. Better to say it doesn't pour in my case, it drips very slowly. Be grateful and use your intention. What is this drop doing for you? I don't think you will see it on camera, and it really takes its time. Sometimes you can twist the bottle a little bit because there's a little opening in the dripper for air to escape, and when the dripper, this little hole is down, then it's harder for the drop to come out. And if you see already a drop forming and it's still not coming out, the last resort before you take off the dripper, as I told you yesterday with vetiver, would be to come very close to the skin and touch the skin with the drop. Of course, then it doesn't have the full electromagnetic effect, because it first, remember in the raindrop technique, it first falls also through your aura, so that's already something. But if it takes too long, like here in the live stream, I don't want to keep you waiting for half an hour. Just apply sacred sandalwood on your crown and apply sacred sandalwood on your forehead and apply it across the forehead. That's what Shivites, for example, do. They use sandalwood paste for the whole forehead. And once you have done that, you can return again to inhaling the oil from the bottle. Some more oil out of the bottle meanwhile. So crown chakra and forehead. And then inhalation directly from the bottle. Breathe deeply. Breathe dedicatedly. And connect now consciously to something that is above your head. It means just direct your awareness to above. Feel above your head. Direct your consciousness to above your head while you are inhaling from the sacred sandalwood. Breathe deeply. Breathe the oil very deeply. Feel the aromatic effect going through you by breathing it, and feel above your head, just observing what is there. What do you feel above your head? Can you open yourself to high, very high above your head even? Now, let's turn to sacred frankincense, the second oil I recommend you for higher guidance. Sacred sandalwood is the variety of sandalwood from Oman called Boswellia sacra. And it's one of the rarest, most sought after aromatics in existence. It used to be available only to the royal families of the Middle East. And it's believed to be the frankincense documented since ancient times, also the frankincense that Jesus Christ was used. It is believed that the three wise men, three kings from the East, took that form of frankincense also to the Christ child. Sacred frankincense has a fascinating woodsy aroma that can be used like sacred sandalwood to enhance your spiritual, meditative, and yoga practices. Like sandalwood, it is, by the way, one of the top skin oils. So here with sacred sandalwood and with sacred frankincense, you have two of the absolute top range skin oils. However, they are quite pricey. This is why I recommend you the spiritual use. But if you really love your skin, and if you can make the investment, use sacred sandalwood and use sacred frankincense also for your skin. You'll be surprised. Now let's see, sacred frankincense comes out. That one pours out quickly. Activate the oil and you apply it foremost on your third eye, but also on your crown. And for some people, it's rather the sandalwood for the third eye and the sacred frankincense for the crown. For others, it's equal. Both affect the crown and the third eye. I always put frankincense also in my neck. And now I continue breathing from the bottle of sacred frankincense now and focus on what's before my forehead and what's above my head. What's in front of my vision eye and what's above my head. Now, what is the feeling of your head? What is the feeling in front of your forehead? If you close your eyes, what do you see? And I know what a strange question. What do you see if you close your eyes? Well, it could be luminosity. It can be even specific pictures. Remember, the second question is, what is your vision? What is your vision? What is your guidance? The effect of the sacred frankincense might be enormously calming, silencing you, and pull you up. Can be like a silent, gentle force that pulls you up and that aligns you to above. Sacred frankincense cleanses all energies that cut you off from the divine guidance. It can be like a golden thread that is being rebuilt, that connects you to your higher guidance. When the month of February comes, now we do it only for Holy Night 2, 26th of December. But in the month of February, I ask you to do this ritual every day, every morning and every evening. And you will actually be able to establish quite a golden link to above. So you do this 3 times for today, right now. Even if you are still early on the 25th, I know for some time zones it's maybe too early, then do this particular exercise at midnight of the 25th of December, going into 26th of December. And definitely do these exercises I just show you in the morning on the 26th when you wake up, and do it a third time if working for your time zone towards sunset. So ideally you do it 3 times, these oil rituals that I give you for each day. And while not much seems to happen outwardly, this is a very important exercise and ritual to connect you inwardly to the reality above your head, your divine source, and also your higher self. And basically, that is your connection to your I am reality, high above and deep inside. The higher self and the inner self is the I am reality. And you hear it in Psalm 46:10. King Solomon says, actually King Solomon lets God speak in Psalm 46:10. In the book of Proverbs, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Please repeat this to yourself. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. God speaks in you. God speaks above you. God says to you, be still and know that I am God. Repeat this to yourself. Feel it, see it in front of your forehead, above your crown. Catherine Leung says sacred sandalwood goes through the center of the head and opens up like a flower blossoming. Yes, that's beautiful because it's like a lotus flower, the sacred sandalwood. While sacred frankincense goes through both sides of the head and fires up with strength. Very acute observation, Catherine. Fantastic. Sacred frankincense has this power to connect to the highest level. Sandalwood is like a lotus flower opening, beautifully observed, while sacred frankincense can create the highest connection. You can also adapt and use sandalwood, for example, also for the heart chakra. So that would be now an alternative use. You have first sacred sandalwood applied to your forehead, applied to your crown, and applied to your heart. And then you do the same with sacred frankincense. You apply it to your crown, this one first, your forehead, your neck. Sacred frankincense always also on the neck and on the heart. This is a variation. First that I showed you is just the forehead and the crown. But sometimes it is helpful if you include already the heart in it. Although the heart is strictly in connection with inner guidance, but you will notice if you apply sacred sandalwood and sacred frankincense on the heart as well, in the center of your chest, your experience will multiply. But as you notice, if you did that now you're not just up and not just in vision and in guidance directed upward, now you're also in the feeling in the heart, directed towards the inner. And that is now the second part of what we are doing. We are going now to use first onycha. Onycha or Styrax benzoin is a resin oil that has been used for a long time, came to the Middle East, to the Holy Land, via the Silk Road, the ancient Silk Road. And it is one of the perfect oils to connect with the inner self. And the inner self, the Jivatman, or the soul, is like a sun inside you. It's like your inner sun. So how do you use onycha? You have another exercise of patience ahead of you, because also onycha is resin oil. Well, it comes a little quicker than the sandalwood, luckily. You activate it and you apply it on your heart center, clockwise, and then apply it on your whole chest. So first only on the heart center, in the center of the chest, and then apply onycha on the whole chest. Then you can inhale either from your hands or directly from the bottle. And notice the difference when you inhale from the hands and when you inhale from the bottle. By inhaling Onicca, you dive into a world of consciousness, into an inner world of solar light. Styrax benzoin or Onicca is a carrier of energies and the fire of the sun. It helps your soul to communicate with you, your inner guide to communicate with you. So inhale from your hands or from the bottle, and now go deep inside the center of your chest, where the soul, where your inner spark resides, deep inside your heart. The Katha Upanishad says about this, Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasyo Chantor Uhayan. It means smaller than the smallest, larger than the largest. The soul breathes through the secret heart of man. The soul is smaller than the smallest, smaller than a fractal. The small soul is larger than the largest. It's larger than the universe. And yet the soul breathes through the secret heart of man, through our mystical heart, our spiritual heart. And this is where the inner guidance comes from. You hear it or feel it coming from the heart, because the soul does not reside in the heart. Remember, the soul is smaller than a fractal, yet larger than the universe. It means the soul is non-local. It is not a geographical event, the soul. Yet the soul breathes through the secret heart of man. It breathes through your mystical heart, your spiritual heart center. And this is, in Christianity, of course, referred to as the heart of Jesus, the mystical heart of Jesus. And then, after doing this with Onicca, we do now the Cistus or Rose of Sharon, which is also connecting you to your inner guidance, to your heart, to the truth inside you. It's called Cistus or Rose of Sharon, or also Labdanum. And it's a rocky rose that grows in the southern Mediterranean. And it can connect you to the truth, your inner truth of your heart. And it can encourage you to fulfill your soul's mission, to understand what it is that you exist for, and to fulfill your inner mission. It has been used as a spiritual oil and also an oil of prophecy for centuries. And in meditation, it is an enhancer, an aromatic enhancer. It helps you to guide the energy within. Take a drop of cistus from the bottle, activate it clockwise. You see me here using this gesture of the ancient oint maker, these two fingers. Then you activate 1, 2, 3 clockwise, and you apply also the cistus on your heart center. Special thing about cistus is it can also be applied alongside the spine. I don't know how flexible you are. Maybe you need somebody else to apply it on the full length of your spine. But apart from applying cistus on the heart, it's great you apply cistus on the whole length of your spine. This anointing your spine with cistus facilitates a stronger energy flow in your back, removes blockages in your back, and activates the energy inside the spine that is in Christianity called Jacob's ladder, that is in Buddhism called the central energy, that is in yoga in India called the Kundalini Shakti. So now you have with Onicha and with Cistus a strong connection also in your heart. And if you're lucky, you have Cistus applied on your spine. This adds an additional dimension. Madeleine Spiegelman says, all of these oils calm my mind and body. Beautiful feeling. And this is Holy Night 2, December 26th, establishing connection to your higher guidance, establishing a connection to your inner guidance through your heart. And this is also the practice for the month of February. In February, I ask you to do these 4 oil rituals in the morning and in the evening. February is short. February 2024 has 29 days. So just 29 times in the morning, 29 times in the evening. And this will be a wonderful, miraculous, and highly fulfilling month for you. Even that second Holy Night, December 26th, will turn out to be a very calm day for you, a very inwardly connected day for you. So again, be careful for what you do and what you do not do on that day, the second Holy Night, because you really can take the time to connect to your higher guidance and to your inner guidance on that special day. And now, after having worked with all these 4 oils, you can now work on the 7 key areas of your life. And that is something you either are now in that state of consciousness that you can simply do it. Another way would be that you really take all 4 bottles and keep inhaling from the 4 bottles while you're now writing in your Holy Night journal, okay, what does my higher guidance say about physical? What does my inner guidance say about physical? And whatever comes could be take care of your body. For me, for example, now just came a simple message, take care of your body. Maybe I have to take extra care in February. Maybe it's not just the usual care, but be more careful with your body. So do this inhalation if you want, if you wish. You can use the 4 oils that we just used before. What is the message for your physical in the month of February? And write it down in your Holy Night journal. Next is your emotional, your feelings. What is the goal or the project for you emotionally in this month of February? What comes up? I get, for example, just a smile. I'm just receiving a smile like you see Mona Lisa smiling or you see a Buddha smiling. So maybe that's a message for me or a project for me in February to be more smiling. But not to smile like an idiot or smile like a fool, but to smile like a Mona Lisa, to smile like a Buddha. So whatever comes up for you emotionally, what would be your number one project for February? And then turn your attention to the mental, to the thought world, while you continue inhaling these 4 oils. Higher guidance, inner guidance. What thoughts? For example, in me came now the message, see your thoughts. See your thoughts. Basically, my message from inhaling these oils is that I not just abstractly think my thoughts, but I learn seeing the thoughts. Then the thoughts become much more powerful. Again, this is just what came up for me. Important is not what came up for me. Important is what comes up for you. And it's sometimes very slight, very tiny thought, very tiny impression that you barely catch. So you have to be very attentive. So in my case, see your thoughts. See what you're thinking, also visually. And then let's turn to the social sphere. What is your main project for your social life in the month of February? And here for me, the message was, there is God inside all beings. There's God inside the hearts of all beings. That's my social project for the month of February. To see and to feel God inside the hearts of all beings. Again, what comes up for you, please write it down. I'm mentioning the things that I get just as an illustration, just as an inspiration, so you might also write down what I'm saying. But it's more important you write down the impulses or the impressions that you get. So what comes up for you inhaling those oils in terms of your social life, your social sphere in the month of February? Breathe deeply, feel the reality above your head, and feel the reality deep inside you. Feel the connection to your higher guidance. Feel the connection deep inside your heart. Catherine Leung says her social goal and project is stay calm and hold the space for all. Stay calm and hold the space for all. Beautiful. Stay calm and hold the space for all. Okay, we get the financial dimension. And now many people are a little irritated. Aditya, why is financial so high? Well, if you think about it, financial energies enable you to do things. Financial energies enable you to create more in your life. And thus, physical, the first plane, first chakra, your physical life. Emotional, the second chakra, sympathy, antipathy. Mental, the third chakra, the solar plexus, the fire of the solar plexus. Fourth, the social, it's your heart chakra, and it's the wind element or air element that connects us all. Fifth, financial, and financial really has to do with what can you do, what can you create. If you have little money, there's little you can do. There's little difference you can make. Financial energy is like an amplifier for your creative powers. This is why it's on the fifth level. 6, by the way, then your spiritual, your vision, your spiritual will. And then 7th, the delight as the highest. This is because on the highest plane, there is Sat Chit Ananda. On the highest plane, it's all being, consciousness, and bliss. Being, consciousness, and delight. This is a short explanation again of these 7 planes that we are focusing on. These 7 planes are indeed connected also to the 7 chakras, to the true meaning of the 7 chakras. Delight, for example, is also Amrita, the nectar that immortalizes, the nectar that drips through your crown chakra, deep into your heart, and makes you immortal. But now let's stay with 5, financial. What is, as you are inhaling these oils, as you are invoking higher guidance and inner guidance, what is your message for your finances in February? My message for February for finances is peace. Simply peace is what came up for me. What comes up for you with regard to finances as the project for February? Okay. Spiritual. What is your main project for spirituality in February? Impression I got is stay connected. Stay connected. Again, please write down the suggestions I give you only in case they are meaningful for you. It's more important you write down what comes to you, what is your personal prompting, your personal inner impulse. Because here we are talking about your higher guidance, your inner guidance. So what comes from the inside and what comes from high above for you regarding the spiritual dimension in February? If you think about stay connected, that could mean practice your meditations, practice your inner awareness, do your prayers, stay connected. And then finally, fun, joy of life, and delight of existence. And this is always triple fold, really, because on the simplest level, it is just fun. On the level of life itself, it's really to enjoy life, to feel the joy of life in every breath you take and in every cell. But on the highest plane, it's really the delight of existence, the soul's delight. So inhale the oils and then write into your Holy Night Journal, column number 2, what is the main project for you for the month of February in the field of fun, joy of life, delight of existence. What comes for you? For me, for example, what came is be easier. Be easier on yourself, be easier on others. Have more fun. That's my message. What is your message concerning fun, joy of life, delight of existence? You can also look for the underlying feeling. The underlying feeling for me in this regard is, for example, cheerfulness. Just be cheerful. Okay, and this is now your seventh area, key area, the area of fun, of joy, of delight. What is your main project going to be for the month of February? Please write it down in the second column of your Holy Night Journal. If you have not started yet with your Holy Night Journal, now is really the time to do it. This is why this time I give you this very clear instruction, how you can structure your Holy Night Journal. If you have started it already and it's fully functional, then great, then just regard this as one possibility, but you have your own system, follow your own system. And if so far you were writing all over the place in your Holy Night Journal and you didn't know how to structure it, then possibly this is a suggestion that can help you to structure it into these 5 sections. Again, you can light a candle on that day, and that candle is for the Supreme, for God. And light a candle for your own soul. I know it's a lot of candles, and it's only for some people, they love candles. Have a big spiritual candle for God, and have a very special candle that you love for yourself, for your own inner light. Some people keep the family candles burning throughout the 12 holy nights. So, for example, you could have the candle for the ancestors burning again on Holy Night 2. You could even have the flame for your mother, for your father, for other ancestors burning. That's up to you. Focus now in Holy Night 2 is really God above and God inside. Divine above and the divine inside. That is your main focus. Then look at these 7 areas. We have done quite substantial work now. Thank you so much for doing it together. Thank you so much for sharing also in the chat your suggestions. And I wish you a very, very blessed Holy Night number 2, December 26th. Higher self and inner self, higher guidance and inner guidance. And please continue these projects on all the 7 areas. If you have not found them all yet, keep writing, stay in the state, and also use these oils. Before going to bed on the 25th, in the 26th in the morning when you get up, and depending on your time zone, a third time towards sunset of the 26th of December. Why I say depending on your time zone, because if the next live stream with me comes already up for the next day, then basically the new energy comes in already. And I know if you're in North America, it's still in the morning of that previous day. So I'm really sorry that the world is round and that we have these different time zones. So basically, there's two ways you can approach this. One way is you watch the live streams when they happen, but you start the practice only once it's time for you according to your time zone. Second way is you don't even watch the live stream, you just watch the recording at a time that is suitable for you according to your time zone. And I know this is practical, but then we don't have the group effect. So as you noticed, we had some beautiful comments by participants. I thank you all, Marissa, Catherine, Madeline, for sharing. That's the only thing that is missing if you're just watching the recording, but please suit your own situation as perfectly as possible. And I wish you a lot of good experiences with your higher guidance and your inner guidance. See you tomorrow.